ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shafqat Thanveer, and I do, welcome you to our newly formed ad hoc committee of American Supporting Democracy and Justice in Pakistan. We are a group of Pakistani Americans who formed this group, American Supporting Democracy and Justice in Pakistan, to support the rule of law and democratic process in Pakistan. We do not simply support one political leader or party, but rather we support the Pakistani people, chosen leaders, whomever they may be, against misinformation, misrepresentation, and unfounded attempts to undermine their authority. I have been working for many years to support the democratic process in Pakistan, including most recently working with the Carter Center to encourage free and fair election. I have two other members of that committee. Let me introduce to you Dr. Majida M. Ahmed. So please, Dr. Ahmed, introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Majida Ahmed. I am a physician by profession. I am passionately involved with this cause because I have stood and fought for women's rights all my life. I am more passionate about this cause because 50% of the people in Pakistan are women and they are being suppressed. The elected government so far has done some wonderful things which I need to mention. They have signed the first Bill of Rights for the women to become a Speaker of the National Assembly and even a President. And for the first time, the Speaker of the National Assembly is a woman. They have also passed a new law in which human organ sale was banned. The sexual harassment against women and the workplace, there has been a legislation that has been passed. So all these things mean a lot to me, and I think by coming together as a group, we will be able to stand for democracy and justice in Pakistan.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Now let me introduce you my third member. That is Mr. Muhammad Chaudhry. So please, Mr. Chaudhry, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Muhammad Farasat Chaudhry. Like my other fellow members, I too have been working to achieve a stable and secure political process in Pakistan. I did work against army rules, Zia-ul Haq in Pakistan, and when I moved from there in '84 to United States, and I did a lot of demonstration against army rule in front of UNO, Pakistan Consulate, and Washington D.C. Now we are working against those who want to derail democracy in Pakistan. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Mr. Chaudhry. Now, let me introduce you that our, two attorneys who are, working with us on American Supporting Democracy and Justice in Pakistan. And the first, our attorney, Aline O'Connor. She is a law firm McDermott, Will and Emery. So please, Ms. O'Connor, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Mr. Thanveer. I'm Eileen O'Connor, and I'm an attorney with McDermott, Will and Emery. I'm also a former journalist with CNN and ABC for 24 years, and working in actually Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. So I am, well acquainted with some of the issues, especially in countries like Pakistan, who are building democratic institutions, and how important it is that proper and correct and truthful information it comes out, and how often people misuse information purposely in order to undermine the civilian government. And in this case, part of the purpose of the committee really coming together is that, and our purpose as attorneys, is to try to get the facts out about the situation and the legal situation, the political situation on the ground in Pakistan. And one point I would just make is that a lot of what goes on in the blogs and the reporting in Pakistan sometimes inadvertently gets picked up as truth and fact in the worldwide media. An example of that is in the Kerry Lugar aid package. Many people reported that there were conditions on the military when, in fact, in order for the aid to be appropriated, when in fact really it's a reporting requirement by the Secretary of State to Congress, but the aid itself is not conditional on what the military is doing. And we believe that it's those kinds of things that are used by the political opposition to stir anti-American sentiment, to stir sentiments against the elected government, and to undermine the government. And historically, as we all know, civilian governments have often been undermined by either opposition parties or even the military, paving the way often for a military takeover. In this situation, a lot of work was done to transition from the military regime of Mr. Musharraf to the current government, which was democratically elected. And I think, and the role of the committee here and their purpose, since they themselves, as you've heard, have fought for democratic causes, was really to try to show that these are political machinations and to try to really get the facts out. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Lanny Davis, who is also an attorney at McDermott Will & Emery.
Good morning. My name is Lanny Davis. I will be addressing the legal issues that are involved in the Pakistan Supreme Court decision overturning the National Reconciliation Ordinance, and an individual who has called a press conference for 2 o'clock this afternoon in America, whose name is Dr. Farooq Hassan, who identifies himself as a, quote, senior advocate for the Supreme Court of Pakistan, and I have certainly a great deal of respect for his background and intellectual views, but we have strong respectful disagreements and wish to challenge 2 aspects of his comments concerning this decision by the Supreme Court of Pakistan, which goes to the heart of why this committee came together, because the decision is actually a challenge to democratic principles and principles of due process. First of all, Dr. Hassan supports a decision made by a Chief Justice who was restored to power because his independence as a member of the judiciary had been challenged by the previous military government. And a reform movement of lawyers at the grassroots helped restore him to power so that he could restore full independence for the Pakistan judiciary and also uphold the rule of law. Yet the NRO decision, in part, uses Article 62 of the Pakistani Constitution, and it introduced Article 62 into its reasoning to overturn the National Reconciliation Ordinance on its own without being asked to do so. Article 62 was decreed by the military dictator General Zia and establishes that members of parliament can be disqualified if they are, quote, not righteous, unquote, and if they violate, quote, Islamic injunctions, unquote. That type of provision is more reminiscent of Iran and the mullahs dictating their moral and personal and subjective views and calling that law than the objective principles of due process, which the Pakistani democracy, ever since Mr. Jinnah established a secular model for a democracy in which Islam and all other religions can be practiced freely.